Hello, hello. I'm just going to set up our Instagram. And here's Pete Britton.
Hello. Are we live?
Hello. Welcome to the show, Peter Britton.
Thanks for having me. Once again, it's always a pleasure to talk with you 10 minutes after I've already talked to you.
It's been longer than 10 minutes now.
Has it? The day has flown by.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
So it's just a dynamic duo today. Paul is currently in the middle of moving his entire life to a different country. He's pledging his allegiance to the King. He has moved to the United Kingdom, so he will not be joining us today. But we'll crack on. We'll survive without him. In fact, we'll probably have more fun without him, to be honest.
Yeah,
I hope he's not watching.
I doubt, but yeah, we might do. So, what are our topics for today?
So the topics that I wanted to cover today, I'm actually checking my phone to see if we have any messages. So because I put out a call out on Instagram earlier on our stories to see if anybody had any interesting blunders or hiking stories when things went wrong. Because in all honesty, things go wrong all the time. You know, I have plenty of stories, and I'll go through some of them now. And I know Paul, for a fact, has plenty of stories. And the two of us together have had plenty of blunders as well. But I suppose it's all in the nature of, you know, we make the mistakes so you don't have to.
True.
So,
yeah.
So yeah, like if anybody hasn't sent in or has a particular story of when things have all gone wrong for them, whether hiking, popping into Instagram, either into the chat here, or respond to my story that I put up there earlier on. Oh, we've loads of them.
Oh,
Deadly.
okay.
Class. So we'll go through them now in a minute. And then also, what other topics were we going to talk about? Oh, so I don't know if anybody heard about this yesterday or the day before, that in Yellowstone National Park, there was a hydrothermal explosion. If you haven't seen the videos yet, go Google it, go search on TikTok or Instagram. It looks wild. It's just a humongous explosion that just comes out of nowhere. So I'm going to talk about that. And then the last one is hiking challenges. So in light of, you know, if you haven't been paying attention to our Instagram channel, we've been running a competition, and we'll talk about how that's working at the moment. But also want to explore some of the other hiking challenges that exist out there. So the Monroe Challenge, the 14ers and stuff like that. And also some of the things that people are doing at the moment, some kind of really interesting and kind of admirable things that people are doing at the moment in terms of hiking. So there's quite a bit to go through. But Pete, I wanted to ask you first, have you any hiking blunders?
Not really.
That's a lie.
Well, like, you raised my trail from the last day, which is probably the worst thing I've ever brought on trail. But that kind of combined with that was my first experience of multi-day hiking, and my biggest blunder that time was overpacking. I think when I arrived, you guys had a look of shock on your face when you saw the mammoth backpack. The what's that movie? That Reese Witherspoon movie.
What's it called?
The name literally just escaped me now. What is it? Wild?
Wild. Yes.
Is it Wild? Yeah.
It's Wild. Yeah.
Like the mammoth backpack that she has, and she just starts taking stuff out. And like, by the time we got from the car park up to the first kind of elevation point, I was like, I can't do this. I had to sit down, and like, we all had to go through my backpack at different. I'd be like, can you take this? Can you take this? I was handing things to Anto and like Johnny B, or Anto wasn't there, to Kieran. He was like, I'll carry that. I'll carry this thing that's hanging off your bag. I'll carry this. So I was like, yeah, that was probably the biggest beginner blunder I've ever made. I don't think I've ever had a I don't know, fall or anything stupid happened to me on trail in particular. Do you remember anything in particular?
Not from falling or anything like that. No, no.
Yeah.
Like the only fall I can really remember, well, other than me falling plenty of times,
Yeah.
is Paul recently when we did a
Oh
hike up
yes.
Crua, and the top of Crua was completely frozen over in like this big dome.
Well, that is a like we talked about going off trail last week, and
Yes.
that was a typical example of why you probably shouldn't go off trail. Because
Yeah.
the first time we were like, okay, look, the trail goes up there. Let's just cut across here and do whatever. And as soon as he took the left turn, he went vertical.
Yeah.
Or went horizontal in the air and then crushed his hip.
Oh, the hang time he got was just
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
he was falling for a while somehow.
He was
I don't know how he
falling
did it.
for a long time. He had that Bambi kind of. Yeah, I like.
You've taken your tumbles on the trail.
I've taken a lot of tumbles. I'm like, because I trail one as well, so like I've definitely like threw myself into all sorts of different situations. But like it's you know, it's a wonder that we work in a hiking company. it's absolutely bonkers that we have gotten away with this so far. Like the amount of times that I've gotten lost, the amount of times that I've gotten lost is just hilarious. We had a joke about this. I remember going on a hike with Mel from Gals Gone Wild ages ago. We did
oh yeah,
the Schlieblen Way, and like talk about getting lost. Like the Schlieblen Way is probably one of the best marked trails in the country.
Yeah.
There's just like two corners where you miss it, and then we were using HiiKER at the time. It was the very first version of HiiKER, so it was old. And basically the UI, the offline map didn't update at the right time and just took the wrong corner. And we all were like, this doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it doesn't seem right.
But there was a trail and there was a marker for a trail, but it wasn't the yellow man. So anyway, we continued on. Oh, and side blunder, when I was doing that trail, I basically fell into a bog. And right up to my knees was completely saturated. Shoes were destroyed, socks were destroyed. Like
1 inch thick layer of bog around your legs. Lovely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just to add to the weight that you carry.
The literal icing on top. It was disgusting. Anyway, we carried on and we got as far as somewhere. We're like, okay, I think we'll camp here for the night. We ended up in a forest. Camped up, and it wasn't until the next day, and then we woke up and we were like Mel was looking at the map and she was like, we are way off course. We went an entire day off course. We went about 25 kilometers in the wrong direction.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah. So we had to walk back on road as far as a town called Kinnity, gorgeous little town in Offaly, I think. And yeah, you had to walk all the way back there before we got back on trail.
Well, it's a good thing the app is a lot better now.
Oh, it's a lot better now. And I'm a lot better now as well. That was one of the worst. I've had my fair share of ones, and myself and Paul, one of the famous ones of us is when we went up to try and do the Mourne Wall Challenge, and like we can do this in 2 days. Like it's a 35k hike. It's a spicy hike. It's a really challenging hike, and we started it at like 3 p.m. and we were like, oh, we'll just like do the first half and then we'll camp and then we'll do the second half. Absolutely fine. We did the first mountain because it's 35 kilometers, but it's almost like 3.5 kilometers of elevation as well. Yeah, it's serious. So we did the first mountain and did the second mountain, and we were done. We just like legs were absolutely cooked. Set up our camp, and we were destroyed by midges. We got up the next day.
Oh yeah, the midgie day.
Back to the car, we were like, we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Again, it's a wonder.
Yeah, for 3 guys who run a hiking company, we have definitely overestimated our challenge a few times in the past. Like the day we went up Binion, which was again a late start. It wasn't too cold. We didn't expect it to be as rough as it was when we hit the top.
Oh yeah.
for example, we had no gear with us. I think I had a backpack with a bottle of water in it, and just was wearing kind of trail runners or something like that. And we passed 3 guys who were like, they were like Everest adventurers. They were like wrapped up in like snow gear and crampons and sticks, and we were just like, hey, what's up? Just gonna squeeze by in there, climbing up, like literally scrambling up snowy peaks.
So I guess like the moral of the
don't
story
do what
is
we do, essentially. If you're
don't do what we do, and also just be prepared. Always, always be prepared. Check the
yeah,
weather.
I think we were always confident in our ability to get out of a situation like that. Like obviously we weren't so prepared with the gear that we had and that type of thing, but for the actual challenge itself, we were capable of hiking that and getting down. But yeah, be more prepared than us, I suppose. And
so one of the entries there earlier on tried to jump a bog and landed one leg out and the other leg up to the in bog up to my waist.
oh, nice.
That's pretty much identical to what happened to me, so I totally feel you. One person said they ended up on the wrong mountain.
Oh, wow!
I feel like this happened to me before as well.
Yeah, that can happen. It can definitely happen up like around like Camaraderie or something. If you're trying to find one of those weird peaks that are up and around that area, you can definitely hit the wrong one just by taking a small veer to whichever angle you're going at.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, I remember doing the Arthur Neal challenge. What was 2 years ago or not January gone, January before, and when I was doing one of the training hikes for it or runs for it, it was a complete whiteout. And I was like really relying on HiiKER to help like find where I was, but you obviously want to like, because of the severity of the challenge, you have to have like good nav skills as well. So I was checking the map, but I was mainly checking the map as the paper map, and then every once in a while just checking my phone, just making sure that I am on the right path or going the right direction. And because it was a complete whiteout, up is down, down is up, left is right. Yeah. Everything was completely turned around.
And you're running and you're exhausted and you're
at this point, because you're going over like open mountains, so there's no trails. So you're going over open mountain, and I did get turned around like 3 or 4 times where I was going in. I felt going straight, checking the compass. Yeah, straight, and I just stopped looking at the compass for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And like look at the compass, and the compass is like, nope, it's not what I'm like
constantly veering. Yeah, it's crazy.
Just like the mountain kind of turns you, so it's just something you really need to be aware of, and prepared for. And technology is not always going to get you out of that as well. You do need to kind of have that kind of, especially when you're doing something like that, when you're up at like open mountain, whiteout conditions, you need to have good sense of where you are. I know the mountain rescue guys that are watching this are probably like, yes.
Yeah, don't listen to
these. But on to challenges. So challenges. So I guess if anybody, Pete, actually, I'll ask you. You're obviously aware of the competition that we have going at the moment.
Yeah.
How do you think it's going?
I think it's cool. I think the concept that we thought up for this is good. As you say in those videos, we're sick of throwing money at Apple and Google and Facebook just to kind of sink it into ads to show them off into people that might not be interested in the product or whatever. So we just wanted to try something different and just give people an opportunity to win a bit of money for doing a hike on a particular day. So if you haven't heard about it, Owen announces 3 mountains, one in the UK, one in Ireland, and one in the US every morning. And we have a rolling pot of our ad money essentially for every day that goes into that pot. If it's not if somebody doesn't hit one of these peaks on the particular day, it rolls over to the next day. And yeah, it's just fun. I mean, I've always been fascinated by these, like the competitions that are on Irish radio at the moment, like all spread over every channel, and it's these big rollover jackpots. And I think that's where the basic idea of the rollover came from. But I think people are enjoying it. We've had a few entries so far, and it's a good idea. We're thinking about ways to kind of expand it further, I suppose. So you've added a little tagging system and a kind of a sharing option.
Yeah,
Have you?
it's
How do you think that's going?
yeah, it's a funny one because like the competition, it was really well received. A lot of people really loved it. Yeah, actually, Wayne in there in the comments talking about it being good. Like we're delighted with it, and we're delighted with the reaction to it. Obviously, one person has won the money already, but we are getting naturally people kind of sharing it. But the thing that we are missing out on, like we're doing this obviously for marketing purposes, and we're not lying about that. We're not hiding that. Like we want to grow. We're a small business, but we're sick of giving our money to Google and Apple and Facebook, where the money is just kind of going into the abyss. Like the reason like that happens is because we're competing with, you know, All Trails and Strava and all these other big companies that have huge ad budgets that drive up the ad costs. So that means that if I'm trying to advertise to you, Strava are going to just pump money into advertising to you, and I just can't afford to do that then.
Yeah.
So this is just a much more fun way to do it. So what am I trying to say here? But the problem that in the original concept is that there's no in fact you are incentivized not to share it.
Yeah,
we're getting kind of goodwill. We're getting people like that we're sharing it for like just because they like us, they think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
But we want that kind of virality when we want people to kind of get engaged in us. And to do that, to incentivize people, is to incentivize those people that are on the sidelines going, is my mountain coming up today? It's like, well, no, but there's a mountain in Wales that, you know, my friend lives in Cardiff that could actually drive an hour down the road and hike up that mountain. And now all of a sudden, both of us have 50 quid or 100 quid or 20 quid, you know, whatever it is. So that's
you can definitely see the sneaks who are like, I live on the foot of X mountain. I'm going to wait. I'm going to hope nobody wins until I get my opportunity to pounce.
Well, like in fairness, now I don't know if he's watching, but the guy who won, I don't know if he lives at the foot of Diamond Hill, but he literally was messaging me saying, "It was like I was literally waiting until you said somewhere." So it's funny. He was just like, I ran to the top because I was just like, there he is. He's watching.
Fair play to him. Yeah.
Well done, Matthew. I don't know if you live in Diamond Hill, but that was just so hilarious when you were.
Yeah, we've seen an opposite kind of situation this morning where I think was Tor the one you announced this morning.
Mantor,
Mantor in Waterford, and just after Owen announced it, somebody posted up. It was like, "Oh, I was just at the top of Tor an hour ago. I could have done it." And
yeah, that was lucky. Yeah, someone literally came down, but that's happened. Like that's probably the most extreme case of that happening. But a friend, actually Matt from Outsider, his partner Rosie, in fact, I think Matt as well had just been up Snowdon the day before, and then I announced the following day. That was not by purpose. Like they're all completely.
I suppose that's the fun of it. Like that's the randomness and the kind of chaos of it. But yeah, I do like the idea of people sharing it around and people creating like I joked at the start. I was like, right, I'm going to create a hiking syndicate of key points around key hikers around the country and try and nail it every time and every time we win it. But the idea, if you have someone who hikes down in Waterford today, you could have been like, if you're free, get up Mantor, I suppose, and win, what was it, 120 quid or something like that.
Well, yeah, you know, today it's 60 quid, but it just grows.
Oh,
just a correction there, Pete. Mantor is actually in England.
Oh, which one there were they talking about?
They were actually talking about Mantor, but that's in England.
Oh, sorry. What's the one in Waterford today?
It actually said Tipperary in the video. I was waiting for someone to go. That's in Waterford. It's Knockanaffron.
Yeah, sorry, I mixed them up.
But so staying with challenges. So there's obviously all these challenges that exist around the world. The most famous ones that we probably know about are the Wainwrights in the Lake District,
the Munros and stuff. Yeah,
the Munros in Scotland, the Fionas, there's another one in the Lake District as well, and another one in Scotland. I can't remember their names.
Yeah,
But the
it's
Monroes and
been
the White House be the two main ones in the UK.
they've been something that we've been talking about for a long time,
Yeah,
and potentially introducing some sort of system into the app of peak bagging, as it's called, and being able to collect kind of challenges or even just peaks around your area. I think it's fun. I think it's a nice idea. It's something that we never really advanced further than a discussion. But it
yeah,
would be interesting to hear other people's thoughts on whether that's something like I think it's cool. Like I know myself that like I know how bad gamification in apps can be, but I
yeah,
also know that when it's done in a nice kind of collection way and there's some sort of legitimacy about it, it can be kind of a good driver to get people up and out. And I definitely consider it. Like I don't go hiking too often just because I'm so busy all the time, but it would force me a little bit more to kind of pick somewhere that I haven't been before.
yeah,
So pick a different kind of mountain in Wicklow this time instead of going up the usual kind of spots
yeah.
that I would go to. So yeah, have you thought about any other challenges that are around? Obviously, there's other things like kind of obviously fastest known times and all this kind of stuff, but that's a
Yeah,
bit
I think the bagging is
yeah.
definitely top of the list because like I was even speaking to Megan, who's the new marketing manager for Harvey Maps today,
Hmm.
and she actually has completed all the Monroes,
Oh,
and
cool.
she was like, if I'm doing it like some parts of Scotland are just literally so remote, and you have to
Yeah.
either hike for a day to get out to the mountain and then to climb it,
Well,
or you can cycle out to it. You know, some of the roads are just not like suitable for cars. Like, you'd use a
hmm.
mountain bike to get out to them. So like there's parts of these, these challenges bring you, as you rightly said, they bring you to these, you know, unseen areas, places that you'd never thought you'd ever go to. You know,
Hmm.
like here in Ireland, we actually have a few. There's Mountain Views.ie have like they're kind of like the authority, I suppose, on a few of these lists,
Yeah.
and they have the Vanderler Lynam Challenge, which is 275 peaks, and they're peaks that are all these challenges. They're a certain height of mountains. This one is like over 600 meters in elevation, plus they have to be 15 meters of prominence, and so 15 meters basically up above the rest of the land around it, basically.
Right.
So there's 275 of those that exist. Last year, Ellie Berry from Tough Souls, who I had in the podcast, friend of HiiKER,
Hmm.
she actually broke the record for completing it in the shortest amount of time, which is absolutely phenomenal time as well. She did like 50 days and something, or a few hours. So
Yeah.
she was just like drive mountain, drive mountain, drive mountain, and she just did it like blitz it in 50 days. I don't think she took a day off, and if she like a day off would be like two mountains.
Yeah.
And then just gone recently in the
Oh,
last like
last.
couple of weeks, it got broken again by this guy Aidan
Yeah, I can't
Ennis.
remember.
I think it's Aidan Ennis.
Mm.
Apologies, Aidan, if you're watching and I'm getting your name wrong. But he not only did he break the record, he did it while walking from mountain to mountain.
Oh wow,
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, he walked from Galway. I think he walked from Galway. Oh, geez, now I'm going to get it completely wrong. I think, yeah, sorry, you Galway up into Donegal, across into the Mournes, the Sperrins, the Mournes, down into Wicklow. I think did he go into the Sleep Booms? I'm not sure. But anyway, basically worked his way all the way around, and he did it in 49 days. He
That's,
broke the record doing it again. That's just absolutely mind blowing, the things that people do.
is
But
is
the guy,
is
sorry,
Ellie going for that again?
no. So Ellie's actually now doing another challenge, which is the Arderans.
Oh
And
right.
I don't remember what the rules are of that, but there's a much bigger list. It's like 450 mountains in
Mm.
Ireland that constitute in that. But right now, there's a guy, I don't know if he's watching, but Jesus, Discover Dan. I can't remember your second name, Dan. Sorry, but he's doing an unbelievable. He's doing the Vanderlynam challenge now as well, but he's doing it and raising money for basically dogs in need of homes. There's a bunch of different charities all around the country, and he's doing it for that. So fair play to you, Dan. You're probably on the top of a mountain right now, feeling the hardship of it. So best of luck with and keep it up. But some of the other challenges that like are definitely on my list are the likes of like the 4,000 footers in New Hampshire, I think. And then there's the 14ers, so 14,000 feet in there's like the Colorado 14ers, because I think that's the state with the most amount of 14ers in it. Because there's 14ers in California, and then there's up in Montana possibly as well, and then up in Alaska where Denali is, and a bunch of other ones as well. So they'd be definitely on my list. Is there any non-peak challenges that you've ever seen?
No, not really. As I said, like I am always interested in the fastest known times. Like it's not something that we'd probably do anything with in the app. We obviously don't want to put anybody in danger or anything like that. I find these people fascinating who run up mountains in the quickest time not possible. It's an insane thing to do. So I do keep an eye on it, but yeah, no, other than that, I don't really know any others. I obviously the 14ers are something that's like a dream goal for any kind of hiker. I don't know much about it. I suppose like to climb those mountains in Colorado, are they hikeable, or are they actual like climbing?
It's kind of like the Munros, where like but probably a little bit more extreme. In fact, it's definitely more extreme because the elevation is just much higher. Some of them like there's I'm going to be completely wrong in saying this, but Pikes Peak, I think, is one of them, which is like relatively hikeable. But there's like, there's so many of them. There's so many, but some of them are very, very difficult and very dangerous, and you need to know what you're doing, or have a guide, or go with a group. I remember I was speaking to Wesley Trimble, who was with the Colorado Outdoors organization. Basically, they're like a kind of a state body for not for profit, that were in charge of maintaining trails and stuff like that. But he hiked all 14ers. He does have a disability. I can't remember exactly what it was. Someone just posted Dylan's Adventures. I just set the new FKT for the Irish County High Points. Unbelievable. Incredible. Congratulations, Dylan.
For each highest point in the county, is it?
Highest point in every single county. What out of interest, what was the fastest and what was the slowest of those high points that you got? But yeah, anyway, Wesley Trimble, he was hiking with a guy that unfortunately passed away when he was hiking one of the mountains. When they were coming back down, got in trouble, actually fell. So they are serious mountains.
Yeah,
that people like it. Yeah. Well, while Dylan is coming back to us there, the last thing we want to talk about is what happened in Yellowstone National Park over the last couple of days. So I've been following this. It's absolutely wild. And I don't know if you know what the background is of Yellowstone, like what is Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone National Park actually sits on top of a super volcano. It is absolutely massive. It is like pretty much the size of Yellowstone National Park, if not bigger.
Like world-ending size volcano.
World-ending size volcano.
No, I do hear different reports from different kind of places online. Some people are like, it's going to explode. That'll end the world. It's fine. Let's all have a big party now while we can. But other people are like, oh, it'll be pretty bad for people who are very nearby. But other than that, there'll be a bit of a dust cloud, and that's kind of it. People get over it. So I don't know if there's any kind of legitimate science behind. Do you know of any, like what will actually happen if it kicks off?
Just the Reddit holes that have been found.
Exactly.
No, like So what I have seen and I've read on is that it sits on top of this super volcano. It's absolutely huge, and an eruption from a super volcano like that. The last one happened about 650,000 years ago. The last time that happened, it was 1,000 times the size of, like, say, some of the volcano eruptions that we're seeing in Iceland or in Italy and places like that. So they're 1,000 times that. So you're talking about fucking civilization ending eruptions. So what would happen is that, and I'm kind of going down a little bit of a wormhole here, but what would happen is that the overflows of the materials, they would actually spread it right out into the neighboring states. So you have Wyoming is gone, Montana is mostly gone, and Idaho is gone as well, and Colorado. I think parts of Colorado are pretty much just like completely swamped with this stuff. And then the ash will start to flow out to other states across the United States, and then the smoke would then circle the entire globe, and causing a bit of a blackout, and causing some of that heat that's coming into Earth to bounce back out and actually cool down the planet by like 10 degrees or something like that over the course of, I could be wrong with the number of degrees, so don't quote me on that. But you're talking about like a colossal. So with that as being the context of what's going on in Yellowstone National Park, what happened the other day was it was nothing to do with that. What happened was it was a hydrothermal explosion, and what that is essentially that there's always this pressure that's building from the heat, the magma underneath the ground, and that's causing any water to be surged right up into out of the ground, basically causing these geysers. That's what they are. And what happens is when these explosions happen is when a sudden steaming or a sudden heating of a large quantity of water happens. So if you imagine your frying pan on full heat and it's been sitting there for like 30 minutes, and all of a sudden you dunk a load of water on it, it's going to go bang. It is going to go like nearly cursed again, but it's going to go bang.
You're really excited about this geyser.
It's geyser, not geezer. So that's what's going to happen to it. So that's exactly what happened, and all the crust from the earth basically just like was burst up into the air and just shot up.
But the fact that there's been such kind of surprise about it from everybody, like, are they not worried that it's as a result of some movement or something like that? Is that not why everybody's freaking out and all the media's attention?
No. That's 100%. Like, and everybody's like going, wait a second, is this something to do with that over there? It's not. I mean, it is in a very like stretched way, but it's not. And the reason why it's been getting a lot of press lately is because it tends to erupt every 600,000 to 700,000 years, and we're like smack bang in the middle of that. So that's why everyone's like, it's happening. Oh God, it's happening.
But living in that disaster movie. What was that one with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Enjoyed, yeah.
I just thought you were going to talk about Dante's Peak.
Well, that was a pretty bad disaster movie. Not that there's any particularly good disaster movies, but is there not a movie where Yellowstone erupts?
Is there?
It could be. I thought there was one released recently, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah,
2012?
that's I think 2012 is the one with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh,
but look,
okay.
That's my contribution to this conversation is: do I need to move further away from the US and disaster movies? So, yeah.
No, like Yellowstone is like top of my list. It's one of the main national parks I want to visit. Like the trails there look absolutely insane. So it's definitely on my list.
I have been on a volcano.
You have been on a bus?
I was on the nice. Yeah, which is very interesting.
That's active, isn't it?
Kind of. I don't think it's fully dormant, but it's like smoking and smoking farts.
I was on Tay, which is in Spain.
Oh yeah,
that actually erupted not that long ago. I think it was like
years
ago or something like that. that was crazy. Like at the top of it, like the smell of sulfur is absolutely insane.
Right.
Stinks. It's so bad. We like got up stupid o'clock in the morning, hiked to the top, and we were like, oh, so happy, so pleased with ourselves. And we just like came around this corner and just this waft of sulfur. And we're like, oh, and we had to sit there until sunrise came up. So yeah, it wasn't the most pleasant sunrise that I've, apart from the view. The view was amazing. The smell was not. That's kind of the hiking blunder if we try and loop that back in.
Yeah.
Okay, so the world's not ending. Don't worry about it. Get
Perfect.
yourselves up to the Yellowstone National Park and do all the hiking challenges and don't have any hiking blunders. We'll leave it at that. Peace. If that's all good with you. Thanks for tuning in. It's a pleasure as always. We'll be doing these shows every single week. It's going to come out as a podcast as well, so watch out on Spotify, YouTube, all the different channels. Smash that subscribe button. And yeah, join our Facebook group. We're going to be having these discussions. We pop these topics into the group so people can discuss them, get their takes on it. And yeah, until then, happy trails, lads. Bye, peace.